G'day punters, where did the year go? Already round 14 of AFL action, lots to discuss. The great Shane Crawford will be joining us. He's going to tip us a winner or two, and he's been pretty mean to me. He told me my top looks like a tea towel, so let's hope he can bounce back and steer us into a winner on Tab's Inside 50. G'day punters and welcome to Tab's Inside 50. Nick Quinn and Shane Crawford here breaking down all the big topics in footy. And Crawford, let's kick off with Port Power. Can they take a huge step towards playing finals footy with a win over Geelong?
All roads are leading to Adelaide Oval this weekend. Ollie Wines is back, which is really important. Travis Boak in red hot form. Although they are coming up against the Geelong side, which is a very different side to the one that they've played over the last few years. More pressure. All over the field, a bit faster too in certain areas. They are 0-7 off a mid-season break, Geelong, which is a real concern. Although, being a different side that they are this year, I think they'll just get the job done. Go over there, it'll be a close game, but the Cats will have a win. Port
Adelaide hasn't been at home in a month. In one word, is that a positive or a negative?
There's no place like home.
That's
sleeping in your own bed and having your own house and your own things and knowing that you only have to drive 5 minutes down to your oval, but it's not going to help much.
And that didn't answer the question at all either. We're going to move on to a fascinating game because the Bombers can spike back into the top 8 with a win here over West Coast. They are on the road. Do you give them any chance of causing the upset in Thursday night footy?
West Coast was so poor in their last game. It looked like they were just ready for the mid-season break. They put no pressure on the side they were playing, which was the Sydney Swans. You'll see a very different side, a side that'll be... it should bring a lot of energy, should be up and about and wanting to get back on the winners list and start the second half of the season. The Bombers aren't going too bad. I thought they were pretty good against the Hawks, even though it was a frustrating match to watch. So I think we've got game on, but West Coast should get the job done at home.
And Josh Kennedy, could he have a big game? Can you see him kicking a bag of goals?
I can see him kicking a bag of goals and I can see him kicking the first goal in one of the quarters. So that's something to look for.
No, he's coming hard, Josh Kennedy. I reckon he'll have a big second half of the season. We move on to my favourite segment, bin or win. I throw the topics at you, you like it, it's a win, you don't, we'll turf it in the bin.
Win.
Dan Hanbury to return and lead the Saints to victory.
Win. Yes, great to have Dan Hanbury back. Just that energy through the midfield. I can see him pushing forward, kicking goals, getting the crowd up and about. And I think the Saints will be better for having a run off the break last week. They got the job done against the Suns, but I reckon they can continue on and cause an upset against the Brisbane Lions. Win!
Two of the sharpshooters go around in Friday night footy, both on and off the field. Jack Gunston and Buddy Franklin. Can they combine for 5 goals or more?
Win, yes. Buddy will kick at least 3. Gunston will give you at least 2 or 3. So... yeah, that's 5 or 6. So, yes, that's definitely a win.
There we go. Some terrific maths there from Shane Crawford. 2 wins there. Now, we move on to your favourite segment, the winning underdogs. That you've made this your own the last month. What have you got for us here?
Well, I'm going to go and be very loyal with the Hawks. I think the Hawks can cause an upset against the Swans. Yes, I do. Do you know what happens? They haven't had a good week, the Hawks. On the weekend, last weekend against the Bombers, I thought it was pretty ordinary. They had a lot of the footy, but they just overused it. Jeff Kennett came out during the week. Ben Stratton was pinching. It wasn't a great week. And do you know what? When everyone starts digging the boots into the Hawks, what do? They respond. And there'll be no better way to go up to Sydney and get the job done against the Swans. And let's not kid ourselves, the Swans aren't world beaters. So I think the Hawks are very, very good value and they'll get the job done.
Take this pen, put a line through Hawthorn's season. They are done, my friend. We'll find out in Friday night footy. Now, let's take a look at some of the teams coming back off the bye. Is there a team here that you think will spike in the second half of the year or potentially have a drop-off? We've got the Crows, the Blues, the Suns, the Giants, the Tigers and North.
Well, I said it was Tiger time a few weeks ago and they've jumped off a cliff. But they'll be back because they're going to get 4 or 5 players back coming up this week or the next few weeks. And then they'll add a few more after a couple of rounds in as well. So all of a sudden you put 6, 7, 8 players back into your team, really experienced types, and you finish the season really well. I think the Tigers can finish with momentum. And the Suns, I just think the Suns have played a lot of young kids. They've got a lot of injuries. The second half of the season, there'll be a real drop-off.
There we go. The Tigers now $1.40 just to make the finals. Who would have thought we'd get that sort of a quote? And the Suns, a slight favourite in the most losses at $1.75. But let's end the show with a bang. What's your best bet?
Well, it's going to be Collingwood to beat the Bulldogs. It's going to be a good match, this. But 1 to 39, you get great value. I think it's $2.10 on the tab odds. That for me is great value on a very good side that's going somewhere.
Yeah, I think the Pies will be too good as well. I'm throwing them in a multi with West Coast in Thursday night footy and the good things of the weekend, the Sydney Swans Friday night.
They're not a good thing, I can tell you right now.
Now that I've got the pen, I'll finally get that autograph from you, but make sure you join us next week as we go Inside 50.